Hi everyone and welcome. This is the Apostate Prophet. There is currently this big notion going around that there is a war on Islam, that France is at war with Islam, or that Islam is under attack. And that is because of the recent incidents, because of the cartoons in France. This notion that there was this Islamophobia problem and that Islam was under attack was spread by Islamic scholars like Yasser Qadi or Zakir Naik, or by presidents and politicians like Erdogan and Imran Khan, or by simple apologists. There is no question that such a notion is complete nonsense. It is very simple. There is no war on Islam. There is no Islamophobia crisis. There is no Islam crisis. Islam is not under attack. France is not attacking Islam. Europe is not attacking Islam. What is happening is that Islam is, again, as always in history, in a crisis. Islam is always in crisis mode, always in defense, always claiming that others are attacking Islam when Islam is attacking others instead. The current scandal, the current situation, the current chaos that is going on is not because France or people in France or papers in France decided to attack Islam. It is because Islam became sensitive, loud, and violent. Charlie Hebdo, which published these Muhammad cartoons, received global attention in 2015 when the headquarters of Charlie Hebdo were attacked because they published Muhammad cartoons, and Islamic terrorists wouldn't allow them to publish Muhammad cartoons. The issue is that up until that point, the vast majority of Muslims in the world had no idea about Charlie Hebdo. They had no clue about those precious Muhammad cartoons, like this one. Muslims around the world only learned about these cartoons after Islamists reacted with violence and took lives. And then, instead of condemning the violence, Muslims around the world, including Muslim leaders and scholars, demanded that Charlie Hebdo should stop its activities and that the French government should do something about it. And the same thing is happening now, but in a much worse way, it looks like. Now, a teacher was decapitated, and other elderly people were killed, again over these cartoons. And instead of unconditionally condemning that, Muslim leaders and scholars have come out talking about a war on Islam. It is very evident that they are far more outraged about the cartoons than they are about the decapitating of people in the streets of France in the name of Islam, which to them is trivial. What is really happening here is not that France is fighting Islam, it is that Islam is attacking France and free speech. Charlie Hebdo is a satirical magazine that published so many publications before. They have existed for decades. And in those decades, Charlie Hebdo made publications, offensive cartoons about a wide range of things that people hold sacred and dear. They have published cartoons about Muslims, about Jews, about Christians, about Jesus, Muhammad, Moses, Mother Mary, French politicians and leaders, Obama and Trump and other politicians around the world, the Pope, about religion and religious figures in general, about Nazis, about Israel. So they have published satire about numerous things. And when Macron said that cartoons are a part of France, what he meant was that. What he meant was not that France must attack Islam. What he meant is that the right to draw these cartoons is a value that is dear to France because it symbolizes, it signifies free speech, which is very important in France. In France and in Europe in general, in Enlightenment and post-Enlightenment cultures, the idea of expressing your thoughts and your criticism freely is extremely important. You are supposed to be allowed and encouraged to criticize ideas from top to bottom of the society. You are allowed to criticize all kinds of ideas and beliefs that people have, that are in power or not. And when you criticize ideas, that criticism also includes satire, which is an important, significant part of basic human behavior and of literature, especially in Europe. Through satire, people naturally express that they disagree with something, and especially if that certain thing with which they disagree is sensitive, or if it is in power, then people tend to use offensive humor to express their concerns and their complaints about a certain thing, about a certain dark or bad thing in a cheerful way. It is supposed to provoke thoughts, supposed to get a reaction in order to include people into a conversation that they may not be otherwise ready to have, that they may otherwise not be wanting to listen to. But satire doesn't always work. As said, Charlie Hebdo published cartoons about so many things, and most of the time, people ignore those cartoons. Among all the different cartoons that Charlie Hebdo made, terrorist attacks and killings came as a reaction to those cartoons depicting Muhammad. And what happened as a result? As a result, the vast majority of people around the world and the vast majority of Muslims now know what Charlie Hebdo is, and they are now aware of Muhammad cartoons. So what has this global Muslim outrage led to? Did it lead to the end of such cartoons? No, definitely not. And it will not lead to that. People will definitely not decide to stop drawing cartoons. On the contrary, they will make more cartoons. They will be further naturally pushed to satirize this sensitive topic. What it has led to is that the topic of Muhammad cartoons has spread across the world, that Muslims have been confronted with this, that more Muslims know about this, that more Muslims are exposed to Muhammad cartoons, to bold criticism of Islam, and that more Muslims will get into this, will suck it in, and will maybe even change their minds. Because satire works for many people, even if it doesn't work for you, even if you think people should be killed over that. Charlie Hebdo is not even a magazine that is liked by the establishment politicians. It wasn't even a very popular magazine, because it was so critical of everyone and everything, until Islam attacked it, and it became popular across the globe. Well done. It's called the Streisand effect. If you try very hard to censor something or to remove something, you only attract more attention to it. And that's exactly what happened here. It's a very simple phenomenon. Maybe respected Islamic scholars, Muslim leaders, and poor Muslim apologists should think about this a little bit further before they take their next actions. So let me clarify this and make this simple. When Macron defended these cartoons and when France projected these cartoons onto French government buildings, they didn't just project Muhammad cartoons and cartoons that target Islam. They projected cartoons that depict Jesus and Muhammad and Jews and all kinds of religious figures and political figures. That's because Macron and France are not at war with Islam. Islam is at war with France and with cartoons. And it doesn't have to be. It is Islamic scholars, Muslim leaders, Muslim apologists who wage this war, and they can end this war. Maybe if people cared more about human life than about the image of Islam, then Islam wouldn't be at war with cartoons, and cartoons wouldn't look like they are at war with Islam. Thanks for listening. Have a great day and stay away from Islam.